you guys have used Interactive Brokers before, you know how complicated their software can get. In this video, I'm here to change that. We're gonna go over Trader Workstation, and I'm gonna give you guys 12 new features or secret settings that exist in this software that I think you absolutely need to know about if you want to learn how to use this program, if you want to become better at understanding how to trade with Interactive Brokers. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Chris and I've been making videos here since 2019. I also have a number of other trading platform tutorials here, mostly related to Trader Workstation, Interactive Brokers, and Sierra Chart, which is my preferred software for trading. Let's talk about it right now. I have Trader Workstation running over here on my Windows virtual machine, and I'm going to start by going up to File, Global Configuration, which is under Application Settings. The first setting we need to go over here is a performance-related setting. And it could improve the overall responsiveness of the program if you have a lot of charts up or a lot of different layouts going on. And if you need the absolute lowest response time. If you want that, you need to enable this setting, which is optimized for performance by stop tracking news. This is under General, the first tab at the very top of the global configuration settings. You can enable it right here, and then once you press apply, it will need to restart the software. And the good thing is it'll log you right back into the program. Okay, you're no longer going to see the news updating here on the bottom right hand side. Sometimes I get questions about memory allocation. This is not too complex to understand. Generally speaking, if you have a very beefy computer like 16 gigabytes of memory or more, then you can afford to set this a little bit higher, which means you're allocating more memory for Trader Workstation to use. Although if you set it too high, then that actually could result in slower performance. So I normally do not set this higher than 2048, which means you're allocating 2 gigabytes of memory to the program. The default is 768. You can up it to 1024, and that's normally what I actually do. Now, if you don't know how much memory is on your system, you can easily check that by right-clicking at the bottom if you're on Windows 11 and then selecting Task Manager, or just opening up the Task Manager application. And then going to the Performance tab here, and then you can see on your system how many gigabytes of memory you have. In this case, I have 4 gigabytes on this virtual machine, okay? And 3.5 of them are already in use, probably some of them by Trader Workstation. You can see Trader Workstation is using about 1 gigabyte of memory, give or take, and then some other things which are also related to Trader Workstation here, these Chromium tasks. So I'm still in global configuration right here. Let's go to the second secret menu item that's been added here. If we go under Export Reports, there's actually a new feature here that will automatically write incoming trade reports to a file, which means that every time an order is filled or a trade has been completed, it will automatically go ahead and write that into this file. And you can't change the directory here. However, if you enable this item, Export Trade Reports periodically, you can actually set a start time of when you want this to happen and an interval of how often you want it to happen. Although all I did in this case was I checked the first item, write incoming trade reports to, and then it auto selects the directory, and the file name is executions.txt. So if I go over to that file now, you'll see 2 trades that I did today. So local disk, JTS, and then I'll confirm the path. This starts with the letter N here. So it's this one. And then I'll find the file name executions.txt. I'll open that, and you can see here we have 2 MEDUC trades bought and sold. You see we have the number of shares, the price that it traded at, the time, the date, the exchange or the routing destination, as well as the account number. So that's pretty good. And you can see also here we had some option trades. So that's actually really good because what it means is that you no longer have to generate account statements to see all your trades. And if you just want your trades right now, export it to a spreadsheet, you get them in there, and then you can write some sort of a spreadsheet application that is able to parse the format that's written to that executions.txt file. So I think that this just makes it easier for traders to keep track of their trading and to potentially perform analysis on their trading to see if their trading strategies are working for them long term or not. The next thing I want to go over here is the saving and the sharing of layouts in Trader Workstation. Now, when we go up to File, under Application Settings, there's a menu named Layout Settings. Some of you guys often ask the question, if I do work on the paper trading account, can I then go ahead and transfer all my settings over to my live account, or will they automatically be transferred over? And the answer is no, they will not be automatically transferred over. However, you can save your settings and then import them into your live account. So what you do is you save it into a settings file, And now since you're saving it just for the purpose of, transferring it to your live account, or maybe transferring it to another user account, or maybe somebody else, maybe your friend or something, all I normally do here is I go under layout settings and then do save decrypted settings as. I guess when you do save settings as, it encrypts the file in some way, but I don't want that encryption here. I just want the file saved in plain text. We don't need security features for this because in my opinion, there's no real security breach here. There's no account settings that are saved in this, because all your account settings are done on the server side anyways. This is more local Trader Workstation settings that get saved. So if I go to save decrypted settings as, it'll say, warning, your settings will be saved as plain text. Any personal information included in these settings may also be accessed. So what they really mean is that some of the widgets in Trader Workstation allow you to write like custom notes and custom text and things like that. So if you're writing trade journal notes inside a Trader Workstation, and they're obviously personal to you, then when you save your settings file, those things will also be in the settings file too. But at the end of the day, there's no personal account information that's saved here. That's all done on Interactive Brokers server side. Okay, so I'll select, do you want to continue? Yes. Then what you do is you give it a name. I'll say my settings, and then with the current date. Typically I'll change the directory because I find the directories they automatically create are a little confusing. So I'll just do JTS. And then, once you give it a name, you just save it, and then you do save, and now it's been saved. And then whenever you log into another Trader Workstation session, you go up to File, Layout Settings, Recovery, and then you do Custom, and then you have to navigate over to the file you just created, which in this case was this one, My Settings, May 15th. And then you click Open, and it'll give you a warning message. And just say open without reporting a problem, and then that's typically fine. It'll load all your settings in like magic, okay? Now the next important feature I wanted to share with you guys is that in Interactive Brokers, they give you the option to change the base currency of your account. So IBKR has a lot of international clients. Comment below where you're from. I'll tell you guys where I'm from. I'm based in Quebec, Canada, but I'm not there sometimes. What I wanted to get into is the base currency of the trading account, which is a feature that allows you to change the currency of what your profit loss gets reported in. Now, the way you can see that is by going up to account and then account window. And you can see here, whatever currency they report it in is the base currency of your account. So in this case, the base currency of this demo account is Canadian dollars. And it's gonna be linked to your live account. I don't know if there's a way to change the base currency of a demo account. By the way, this is changed when you go to account management, home. It brings up the client portal, and then you have to go to the top right hand corner, go to account settings, and then you'll get that list of account settings where you can change your base currency. Now, in my opinion, I don't think it's practical to change your base currency to another currency that's not the currency you report taxes in. So if you're based in the United Kingdom, chances are you report taxes in British pounds, in GBP. So you should keep your account-based currency in GBP. That way, when Interactive Brokers sends you your tax statements at the end of the year, they're all automatically converted into GBP, so you don't have to do any extra work converting the currencies. That's why I typically recommend keeping your base currency of your Interactive Brokers account in the currency of where you report your taxes. Now, if you have another reason as to why you don't want to keep it in your base currency, then fine, go ahead. Maybe it's for some other custom type of reporting you're doing, you found some sort of a loophole or something, fine. Do it that way. But personally, I leave it in my home currency just to make it easier. Now, the fifth secret feature or menu item that you really need to know about here in Trader Workstation is a new feature they added that pertains to using stop limit orders or limit if touched orders. How can I explain this? We go up to File, Global Configuration, and then go down to Orders, Settings. This is the new menu item called Auto Adjust Limit Price for Stop Limit and Lit Orders. This is what it does. This is a quote monitor widget in TWS. It's one of the best windows you can use to manage your watch lists and trades. You can also see your portfolio from here too, which is really useful. Okay, so I'm gonna start by right-clicking on this symbol, which is an option contract. I just dragged it in by clicking and dragging on the option chain. I'm gonna right-click there, do sell. We have a basic sell order that comes up. I'll go to the order type column, and I'll change it to a stop limit order type. Now, I'm not gonna go over how to use a stop limit order here, but basically this is the feature in question. It's that when you change the stop price of a stop limit order, it automatically adjusts the limit price by the same amount. So if I go ahead and I move the stop price to say $2 from 142, it'll also move up the limit price by the same amount that I moved the stop price. So it keeps them in line. Now, if you move the limit price it will not automatically move the stop price. So let's say I move the limit price down to 195. I move the stop price down, you see it moves the limit price automatically. In my opinion, that's a great feature they added. That's something they should have had from the start. If you didn't know about that new feature, leave a thumbs up right now. I appreciate it. And check out Interactive Brokers using the first link down below. That's what you can do to support this work if you appreciate it. Okay, here's another feature that I think is really, really useful, which is the ability to add any number of bracket orders to a trade or to create OCO orders on the fly. Now, in my opinion, it's not the fastest way to do it, but this is actually the only way that you can create an infinite number of one cancels another orders. What a one cancels another order is like a target and a stop loss. A take profit and a stop loss, and when one of them fills, the other one gets canceled. It could also be an OCO entry order. For example, you could have, if the stock goes down to a price, buy it. Otherwise, if the stock goes up to a price, buy it. And when one of them fills, the other one cancels. So let's do an example of that. Let's say I do it on this option contract here. You need the order entry window to do this. It's the only way to do it right now in Trader Workstation. If you don't have order entry, you go up to new window and add it in by doing order entry. And you have to unlock the workspace before adding in new widgets. I should have said that too. So in the order entry panel here, let's say I wanted to do a sell take profit and a sell stop loss. This is kind of how I would do it if I was adding it to a position that I already had. Let's say I was already in a trade here. Let's say I bought two. Let's say I bought three. I'm just going to go in and buy three of this, okay? So I bought 3 options contracts. Now I'm going to go to the order entry window. With this method, you can add an infinite number of bracket orders to your trade. So what I'll do is I'll create a sell order, and this will be my profit taker. So let's say I put a profit taker up at 275, and then I click on the advanced tab, and then I'll enable one cancels another right here. And this is where I'm going to put the other order that I want to be active. And when one of these orders, either the primary order or this order I'm about to set up, fills, the other one is canceled. That's how it works. It's a one cancels another. So it's going to be a sell. The contract is going to be this one right here. So you click on the little arrow here to bring up the contract that you're actually trading. And then change the order type. In this case, I'll do stop limit. And sometimes if the window gets extended past the screen, what you could do is just press the advanced tab again to make it automatically update. I'll change the quantity to 2. Why don't we do 2 for both of them? So I changed the quantity here and for the one we just set up. Now I'll go in, I'll put the stop price down at say $2, and I'll put the limit price at $195. And now that my stop limit order is ready and configured, I'll do submit. And actually, now that I realized that the market price has moved higher than my limit profit taker price, so I'll just move it up briefly so we can show the orders being there. So why don't I move it up to 290, the profit taker. Now, once you're ready, you do submit. You may get warnings and things. Why don't we show how to disable these warnings? This is something that people often ask about. So the first thing is performance profile. You can remove that right there. That was the window we just saw. These are limits that are in the software that relate to when you place orders far away from the market. I'm going to update these, and I'm just going to put 100% here. It says limit price exceeds the market price by 26%. Doesn't matter. I'll put the number of ticks to 1,000, and I'll put the percentage to 100%, and that'll be fine. Update. You're about to submit a stop order. I'll click don't display this warning again. Okay, override and transmit. All right, have a look. These are my 2 orders here. Now, if you don't have this window, you can also see them in the orders window here at the bottom of the basic mosaic window they give you. So you can also see my 2 orders there. And you can see that they're linked with a bracket. You see that? That means that there are one cancels another pair. When one of these fills, the other will be canceled. Now the market is currently moving up here, so my sell take profit might be filled before my stop loss. At least this is what it looks like currently. I'll go back to my other tab here. People often ask, how do you quickly move an order to fill it right now? What I'll normally do is I'll just click right on the price, and then I'll select the price from this list here. So let's say I want to bring it right to the mid price. So I'll do 280, 281, update it. Now I moved the order down to 281, and I filled it, and I got out. Okay. Now in this case, I got lucky and I had a profit on that trade, but in reality, it's a lot harder than that. That was just pure luck right there. Okay, just to inform you guys, I know it looked cool and all that, but no, pure luck. Okay, so that's how you create a separate bracket order for your trade. Now there's also a way to do it when you go to trade, create, target, stop, exit bracket, but that method only allows you to set one bracket order. Now we're on feature number 6 here, and if you guys are getting value from this, remember to press the like button. I really appreciate it here. So I'll go to the Mosaic tab. Now some of you guys might do chart trading. If you trade from the charts in Trader Workstation, you either do it using hotkeys or using a buttons panel. I'll press the View button here, and then I'll click Buttons panel to add in a buttons panel. Now, when it comes to trading and moving lines around on your chart, this is how it's done. Let's say you press the buy button here, and then I can add in a buy order on my chart, just as an example. Now, sometimes there's an annoying thing that happens, which is that it's hard to actually physically click and drag on your order on the chart to move it up and down. There's a hidden feature that'll actually make it easier to click and drag on your line. So you have to go to Edit, Global Chart Configuration, scroll down a bit, near the bottom actually, until you find Miscellaneous, and then under Line Grab Sensitivity, change this from medium to low. And you can also hover over the tooltip over here and it'll say lower sensitivity means existing trend lines can be grabbed from greater distance, which makes drawing new lines close to them more difficult. However, if you're clicking and dragging on orders on the chart, it's going to make it easier to drag them. So you see now I can drag up my buy order up and down. Or if it's your stop loss, you can drag your stop loss up and down, okay? So I'll cancel that order now. Okay, another really useful thing you can do in Trader Workstation is show the financial instrument information as well as showing the margin impact of a position on your trading account. Let's show how to do that now. You could do it from your portfolio or from any watch list. So let's say you have a watch list of tickers, kind of like this. You can right click on the symbol and then go to the very bottom where you have the arrow here. Then find Financial Instrument Info, which should be right here. Sometimes it's hard to find because there's so many options. And then you do Description. What the description will show you is so much information about the ticker symbol, and sometimes it'll even show you margin requirements. In this case, it's an option, so it says margin not available for contract. If it's a futures contract, you'll typically see the margins there, and for the stocks too. Now, to show margin requirement for a position, typically, it's also under the same menu, which is Financial Instrument Info, Show Margin Impact. So again, I'll show that. I right-clicked, click on the bottom arrow, go to Financial Instrument Info, Show Margin Impact. And that will actually show you how much one position is impacting your account. So it says, closing out this position would have the following impact on your margin requirement. So it would basically take my equity with loan up by $413 approximately. That's what it's saying, but sometimes it's an estimate. We're on number 9 now. Let me know where you guys are watching this from. Hopefully it's from a hot place. So if you guys are Forex traders, this is a really important feature. So I'll put in a Forex symbol onto my watch list here, which will be dollar against the Swiss franc, Ideal Pro. Let's say I put in an order. I'll just right click and I'll do buy. And then I will click on the limit price box. What this setting is all about is how to enable trading the in-between prices for a Forex pair. So you can see I can place it every 1 tick in this case. But actually the way they call it is 1/10 of a pip. Let's show how to enable that. I'm gonna go up to File, Global Configuration, Orders, Settings, and then right over here, Show Forex Data and Allow Forex Trading in 1/10 pips. If you disable this, this is what happens. You can see now my increments have gotten larger. I can't trade in the in-between pips anymore, which is no good because sometimes you may need to. If you're trying to fill an order and you really want to see exactly where it's trading, what you do is you bring up a time and sales window like this and you look at the last traded price. You can see where it's trading in between those ticks and you can place your order accordingly to get it filled right now. The bid and offer for Interactive Brokers Forex, usually it's in 5/10 of a pip increment. I just call it 5 ticks to be honest. Enabling that feature allows you to put in orders in between these increments, which is going to be useful and allow you more precision. Okay, the next item I'm going to show is a really interesting hack for scaling out of a trade. Let's talk about scaling out of positions right now or closing a portion of a trade. So let's say you're trading this option again. I'm going to go back to this SPY 588 call. And why don't we buy a few more of these? Why don't we buy 3 more? I'll just transmit my limit order. Now I'm in a position of 4 contracts. Okay. So there's 2 ways that you can scale out of a position or close a portion of your position in Trader Workstation. One way is you right click on your trade, you go to trade, and then you do close selected position. That's actually the easiest way, believe it or not. It's not the fastest way, but it's the easiest way. I'm going to show you a faster way now. It's the second way. So basically what you do is you just click on one of these. You can do 50% and then it'll put an order in for 2 in this case because I'm in a position of 4. So it'll sell 2. The price that it populates is right around the last price. Again, I do not use market orders. Go watch my video right here to explain why I don't use market orders. I prefer to use limit. So all I do with limit is before I transmit it, I examine the price. I examine the bid and offer price. Then I click on my limit price. I move it to where I need to move it, maybe $2.98 in this case, or $3 or whatever I'm looking for. And then I'll transmit it. And normally it's filled right away. It's a skill in trading. It's called knowing how to work a limit order. Every single trader or investor should know how to work a limit order. You can quote me on that. Thank you. So that's the first way to submit a scale out order or to close a portion of your position. The second way is actually a really interesting hack that, to be honest, I'm not sure if it even works anymore on the latest versions of Trader Workstation, but on the current version I'm on, I know it works. One thing also that I've noticed is that this feature I'm about to show you may not work the same if you're on an advisor account as opposed to being on an individual account. So try it for yourself to see if it works. So the way I'm going to do it is like this. I'm on a quote monitor here, but you can do this on any window that supports a buttons panel or also trading keyboard shortcuts or hotkeys. I will add the buttons panel right here. I have a default set of buttons, but we're not going to use those. I'm going to click on the wrench and go and create a new button. So I'll click new, and then I'm going to find reverse position. So I'm going to scroll down this list, go to reverse position, and you can see at the bottom here, we get the percent. If you reverse 100% of your trade, it will basically reverse you from being long, whatever you're long, to short the same amount. Or if you're short, it'll reverse you to being long the same amount. Now, what's interesting is if you put a number less than 100 here, you can actually use it as a scale out button, which I found so interesting. So if you put, for example, 10 here, let's examine what it does. It'll reverse 10% of your trade. So what does that really mean? Let's have a look. Apply, okay. Now we have this reverse position button. If I press that, you can see it puts in an order to sell 1. Well, that's interesting. Now I'm going to show you how to create multiple of these so that way you can use them to scale out portions of your position in a 1 button click, which is obviously much faster than right clicking, going through the other menu, clicking again, submitting the order, all that stuff, okay? I will click on my reverse position button, then select duplicate, click on the second one, and I'll change the percentage to 20. And just to be clear, I'll also put reverse position 20 or reverse 20 on this one. And on this one, I'll do reverse 10. So basically the way this works is I'll try to explain it as clearly as possible. So if you do reverse 50%, it'll basically be like sell 100% of your trade. So like reverse 50 basically equals sell 100%. You need to use numbers smaller than 50 and then create a number of buttons to basically scale out a portion of your trade every time. So basically, this is not always as reliable as the first method I showed you, but depending on your position quantity, sometimes these fields could actually be pretty accurate. So if I'm in a position of 5, let's just show if I add one more here, and then I press this sell 80% button, you see it gives us an order to sell 4, which is 80% of our trade. But for some reason, that button didn't work the same when our position was 4. So certain divisions of your position size may not work well when using the reverse position function, although it's still good to know. Now in TWS, it's also possible to trade using dollar amount, and that's a feature that some of you guys often ask about. I'm going to show you something in TWS called the feature selector, which is when you go up to File, Global Configuration, all the way at the bottom, Features, right? Over here under features, you can enable trading by dollar amount, which is going to be under order management, order entry tools. Trading by dollar amount or percentage, that's the last one here. If you enable this, then whenever you click on your order quantity for an order, you'll also get the option to submit the order in cash quantity. You go to your basic order entry box right here, and then when you click the quantity, you'll see shares or USD. However, what I've noticed, sometimes there's issues with cash quantity orders because they're not supported with every type of order. So it might sort of defeat the purpose of using them. But you can see here, for example, cash quantity cannot be applied to an attached stop order or an attached profit taker. Let's say I wanted to do 70,000 worth of it and then put my limit price, down at, I don't know, just for fun, 589. and then transmit it. Let's see what it does. So you can see traders are responsible for understanding cash quantity details which are provided on a best effort basis. Orders that express size using monetary value are provided on a non-guaranteed basis. So if I go to the trading tab, you can see there's my cash quantity order. It's been routed. Now, I guess the reason why they say that it's provided on a non-guaranteed basis is because part of this order is actually fractional shares. And I think that fractional share orders have to be routed to a special exchange, probably one of their own exchanges, something Interactive Brokers is handling. So generally speaking, guys, I do not recommend using cash quantity orders. It's more of a convenience feature. And as you can see, it's not supported for stop loss and target anyways. So I don't recommend it. That's what we're going to cover for today. Check out this playlist right here to go and get all the other tutorials. Make sure you go into this playlist and watch all those other videos if you really want to learn how to use this software. I appreciate it a lot. And then click this playlist right here if you want to learn about some of the advanced custom studies that I have for Sierra chart. Thank you very much. Cheers.